Carney and Trump exchange words on the world stage, renewing the debate over sovereignty and trade. Plus, an assessment of Calgary's infrastructure shows a growing concern, and it isn't just water mains. Also, an Alberta teacher survey finds record high levels of stress post-strike. We'll have details ahead.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Jacqueline Wilson.
A major development today in the U.S. threat to take over Greenland. Trump announced a framework for a deal on the island. It came after the president addressed the World Economic Forum in Davos. There are few details, but Trump says that the arrangement gets him everything that he wanted.
It's the ultimate long-term deal, and I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
Now, Trump didn't say if the U.S. will own Greenland. He also announced he is canceling threatened tariffs on U.S. allies in Europe who opposed his plan to annex the island. Meanwhile, after Mark Carney's powerful speech in Davos on Monday, Trump came out swinging, saying that Canada should be more grateful. Mark Villani has more.
It's a speech sending shockwaves around the world.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it.
And without naming Donald Trump, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke of foreign policy that uses economic pressure as weapons.
We believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger.
A message heard loud and clear from some Calgarians, like Sally Carefoot, who immigrated here 18 years ago from the United Kingdom.
He really portrayed Canada in a really successful and positive light, which was really refreshing in this day and age.
I thought it sort of set the tone for civilized countries in Europe and North America to get along and pull together.
But the president was clearly annoyed.
Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
I think that the content of what he said is increasingly dangerous.
Political experts note that Trump often follows through on his stated security interests, no matter how they're perceived. With Greenland already in his crosshairs, some scholars say Trump's rhetoric could also strengthen the American public's view on Alberta separating from Canada.
That just weakens us. The Americans, if they are following what Trump is saying, they will be jumping on that to further divide.
Leaders of Alberta's sovereignty movement disagree.
Donald Trump literally pantsed him on the world stage.
Separatists are now accusing Mark Carney of aligning with communist countries like China, citing pockets of the province's Southeast Asian community pushing for change.
They do not want to live in a communist country, and they're now, thanks to Mark Carney, have been given an impetus to come out and sign, what a lot of people are calling the Alberta Declaration of Independence petition.
But despite the effort of some to leave Canada, others say we're stronger together and are uniting against Trump.
Let's prove him wrong.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
An assessment of Calgary's infrastructure shows a growing concern, and it isn't just our water mains. The new report shows about a tenth of the city's critical systems and services are at a high risk of failure. Jordan Canigan reports.
Calgary's aging infrastructure is a major problem.
Right now, we are not prepared because of the last 20 years of pushing it down the road, as they say.
But now the issues have arrived. Massive water main breaks have handcuffed Calgarians twice in the last year and a half. Now work on a replacement line for the Bears Paw feeder main will start right away.
We evaluated the risks that we were facing as a community and made the decision to cancel the existing procurement and to award it directly to a contractor who could start immediately.
The project to tunnel a parallel line through the Northwest was supposed to begin in the spring, but construction was rushed to start this week.
We need to build this pipe as quickly as possible, as safely as possible.
Ongoing water woes have spotlighted the need for better infrastructure maintenance, but a city report out this week shows the issues go far beyond just water.
I think it's very concerning, because what it signals is that there's a lot of investment that we have to make to bring it to where it needs to be.
The assessment elevates Calgary's overall critical infrastructure risk level to extensive, the highest rating the city uses. From water pipes to roads, bridges, and IT systems, 11% of it is in poor or very poor condition.
But the silver lining here is addressing our key infrastructure has the significant opportunity for cost savings in the long run. So either we pay a bit now or we pay massively down the road.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Council started budget priority talks today, but it was all behind closed doors. A 29-year-old Tsuut'ina woman was killed earlier this month, and another woman is now charged with second-degree murder. Tsuut'ina police responded to a home in the nation near Wintergreen Road on January 5th. Now EMS were called for reports of an unresponsive woman. 40-year-old Amanda Audrey Nicole Crane was arrested on Monday at a home in Calgary. Investigators say the two women did know each other, but wouldn't say how the victim died. Police say Crane is not a nation member and was not known to investigators.
On the morning that we were called by EMS, our first responders determined that the death was suspicious in nature, and we began our investigation. Obviously, an autopsy was also performed on the 7th of January, and that confirmed that this actually was a homicide.
Crane next appears in court on Tuesday in Cochrane. The victim's name has not been released. A Calgary man who killed his roommate has lost a bid to have his conviction overturned. In 2022, 55-year-old Kevin Honish was assaulted and left bleeding from the head in an Albert Park home after being accused of stealing tools. Honish then went to a home on Cottonwood Crescent Southeast a couple of hours later. Only then was an ambulance called, and 1 week later he died in hospital. Colin Oxby argued that there wasn't enough evidence that he caused Honish's death, but the Court of Appeal ruled that his manslaughter conviction stands. A Calgary police officer explained the emotional, physical, and psychological toll of a fellow officer's actions at the Calgary Police Service professional conduct hearing that happened today. It comes roughly 6 years after Constable Mike Oakley filmed the pair having sex without her knowledge and then showed it without her consent to others on the service. Alicia Philberg reports.
She can't share her identity, but she hopes sharing her story helps others. She spoke at a police disciplinary hearing about how a senior CPS officer helped her prepare and apply for her dream job as a police officer and then indicated she owed him sex.
He used his position, his authority, and my dream as weapons.
The victim is protected under a publication ban but can be identified as AA. In 2025, Constable Mike Oakey was demoted of seniority and rank for a year after filming a video of them having sex without her knowing it, then sharing it without her consent. Oakey took the video without AA's knowledge while they were dating in 2018 and shared it with some of his Calgary Police Service colleagues. He knew she planned to become a police officer and continued to share it after she became an officer in 2019. In the hearing Wednesday, a CPS lawyer said Oakey abused his position of authority and trust to groom and manipulate AA. Oakey's lawyer claims his client one time said, "I helped you, it's the least you could do," when she denied his sexual advances.
What Oakey did not just hurt me, it dismantled my sense of safety, my identity, and my future.
Calgary Police Service says it can't comment while the matter is in progress, saying the hearing is reflective of how seriously the CPS takes these allegations and our commitment to thoroughly investigate.
When it does happen, and it can be proven to that it has happened, then the full authority of the service to discipline must be respected, because that's about protecting the integrity of policing.
AA said she has suffered night terrors, hair loss, and has had to take a leave of absence from the career she has always wanted. She hopes speaking up makes a difference for others.
For all the women that are kind of scared or trapped and feel like they can't come forward, and maybe this one moment will help them have the courage to come forward and show that they're not alone and that the service will do something about it.
A CPS representative says Oki took advantage of a civilian he was sworn to protect and should lose his job. Oki's lawyer says that's too harsh and says that he's already lost more than $100,000 in salary while he's on unpaid leave. The presiding officer is expected to make a decision next week. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
A violent and reckless crime spree across several northern Calgary neighborhoods last week has landed 3 teenage boys in police custody. Police say the suspects, who are all 17 years old, drove around targeting homes and vehicles using pellet guns and bats, causing a lot of damage. But in one instance, investigators say the occupants of a parked car outside of a Northwest 7-Eleven were chased by the suspects and shot at using a replica gun. And in another related incident, a moving vehicle's windows were blown out while on Deerfoot Trail. Incredibly, no one was hurt, but it's believed the teens now facing multiple charges didn't act alone, and so CPS are looking for other culprits. And Calgary police are investigating an armed bank robbery in the community of Killarney. It happened about 10 o'clock this morning at the Scotiabank along 3400 block of 17th Avenue Southwest. The suspects fled the scene, described as a man wearing a black hoodie with white or yellow lettering, a black face covering, light colored pants, and black gloves. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. The owner of 2 Calgary tow truck companies faces multiple fraud charges. Last month, 2 insurance companies complained to police about suspected fraudulent activity and excessively high fees. The insurers made multiple attempts to contact tow truck operators to arrange payments and to recover 9 vehicles stored on the properties, but the companies received no response or significant delays. Police seized 9 vehicles from a property on 80th Avenue in the Northeast. The owner of Southway Towing and Countryside Towing, 25-year-old Hassan Ashraf Zaran. He faces 9 counts of fraud plus stolen property and mischief charges. Last year, the city and the province passed new laws aimed at cracking down on predatory towing practices.
Well, today was a little chillier than what we've been used to, and our daytime high did not get above freezing. We got to about -2, -1 in the city today. Tomorrow will be a drastic change. Tomorrow is a big burst of winter for us. In fact, temperatures will actually drop throughout the day rather than warm up in the afternoon. So a wind chill of -20 when off to work and school, and by the afternoon, a wind chill in those mid-20s. We're also looking at picking up anywhere from 1 to 3 centimeters of snow in the city because we'll have flurries on and off throughout the day. That full forecast is just ahead.
All right, thanks so much.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
A survey conducted by the Alberta Teachers Association paints a grim picture of how its members feel about the current state of classrooms. Over 5,500 teachers and school leaders were surveyed. It was conducted between November 21st and December 5th after the province invoked the notwithstanding clause forcing teachers back to work. 95% reported high levels of occupational stress. Respondents also highlighted collapsing teacher well-being, overwhelming classroom complexity, resource gaps, along with system and policy pressures.
They're calling for real solutions, including staffing and other resources that match the conditions that they are facing every day. The government cannot continue to pretend that class size and complexity do not matter. The Premier and the Minister of Education must move from statements of concern to measurable action. They cannot continue to rely on the dedication of teachers while failing to give them the tools and support that they need.
In a statement, the province says it is working to address classroom size and complexity through a cabinet committee. It's also committed to hiring 3,000 teachers and 1,500 educational assistants. The province is highlighting a boost in housing construction last year. More than 53,000 new home construction projects got underway in 2025, which breaks the previous record set the year before by 14%. And more than half of those were in Calgary at over 27,000, which also is up 14% from the previous year. Now, as for renting a spot, the asking price in Alberta is about $400 a month below the national average. So that sits at about $1,600 a month. Midwives in Alberta say the province needs to increase access to pregnancy care because the waitlist is just too long and working conditions are better elsewhere. It comes after the province announced it would move in-house midwifery care from an Edmonton hospital to Fort Saskatchewan. The Alberta Association of Midwives says that demand is so high that more than 40% of women seeking care for their pregnancies and birth never get matched. In a statement, Primary Care Alberta says it's working with the association to look at sustainable ways to support the midwifery workforce. Midwives say that urgent action is needed.
We are very concerned that if we don't have good, sustainable programs and compensation in place for Alberta midwives, that we will see a loss of our workforce. We know that currently of our next graduating class, 70% of that graduating class has considered leaving the province.
A July report using data from the Canadian Institute of Health Information found that Alberta has a shortage of midwives, with 21% below the national average. One local researcher says that fermented foods like yogurt and sauerkraut should play a larger role in our diets. The Canadian Fermented Food Initiative links fermented foods to lower risk of chronic disease, including type 2 diabetes. Researchers surveyed more than 4,000 Canadians and found that yogurt and cheese are the most commonly eaten fermented foods, but there are other options like sauerkraut, kombucha, and kimchi. Experts say that modern North American diets have become too sterile, limiting exposure to beneficial bacteria that support gut and immune health.
We don't get the exposure to bacteria or microbes that we used to, and that has led to chronic health conditions, so immune-related, more asthma, more allergies, more diabetes, more brain memory problems, and so we want to get microbes, get bacteria back into our diet to try and reverse and prevent some of those conditions.
An extensive list of healthful fermented foods can be found on fermentedfoods.ca. A former cannabis growing operation has been repurposed to grow produce in Crossfield. The building sat empty for 2 years until Energy Grow greenhouses took over last August. After a few weeks of cleaning and figuring out the HVAC and monitoring systems, the team started planting a variety of fruits and vegetables.
So in this room right now, we have a variety of leafy greens, lettuces, char, and many types of herbs. As well, in the back, we have about 6,000 plants of strawberries moving into our first phase of strawberry production.
The new owners say that once some revenue is generated, they'll be looking at increasing staffing levels along with the output of the greenhouse. Their goal is to sell locally and mirror this model in other municipalities around Alberta. All right, well, stay with us. Danielle Savoni is along next with her Skywatch weather forecast.
All right, well, we're easing into the colder weather. Today was just -1 as a daytime high. So we didn't get above freezing, which is the first time in a long time. But we're really going to notice a big burst of winter tomorrow. We'll talk more about tomorrow in just a second, but quick look at temperatures and daytime highs across the country today. Regina got to -6, so did Saskatoon, 5 in Vancouver, 8 in Victoria, and Toronto got to -1, and even St. John's, Fredericton, and Halifax were below freezing for today. Okay, radar and satellite. Not a whole lot going on today, but tomorrow we are looking at picking up a little bit of snow, 1 to 3 centimeters possible in many communities. Most of it should be in the afternoon hours, but we could still see some pop up here and there in the morning hours as well. But when you're looking at where we're looking at this snowfall, it's basically QE2, Highway 2, and to the west, with some of it sneaking into the Milk River area. Amounts, we're not looking at huge amounts, but 1 to 3 centimeters is certainly possible in most communities, Calgary included in this as well. Milk River likely just picking up a centimeter, Lethbridge as well, and then further along QE2, Highway 2, that 1 to 3 centimeter mark is sure possible, and closer to about 1 centimeter in Cochrane, Canmore, in through the Banff area. All right, longer range forecast. Yes, a significant cool down. And the key thing for tomorrow is rather than temperatures rising in the afternoon, we're going to continue to decline throughout the day. So -12 will be our daytime high. That's in the morning hours with a wind chill of -20. By the afternoon, we're looking at -16 as the base temperature with a wind chill closer to -26. Also, again, 1 to 3 centimeters with those on and off flurries throughout the day. Then we'll see a little bit of sunshine, but still a lot of cloud cover for Friday. Still cold on Friday with a high of -11. And by Friday night, some more snow will kick in. That will carry in through Saturday, another 1 to 3 centimeters. It will recover. The temperatures will recover for the weekend, but still below freezing for the weekend with daytime highs in those minus single digits.
All right, thanks, Danielle. A skijoring event in Banff was meant to help draw in business during the shoulder season, but it might have worked a little too well. The mountain town was just so full. Some people had to park on the side of the highway near the exit on the way out of the town. Now, this image was captured Saturday afternoon at Vermilion Lakes. The person who took the photo says a tow truck eventually closed the entrance to the road. Thousands packed the streets to watch this skijoring event, and people had to get some pretty creative before being moved to safety. Banff and Lake Louise Tourism were expecting about 8,000 people to attend the event each day, but no official numbers have been released quite yet. And Parks Canada is delaying today's launch of camping reservations. An IT outage is impacting some Government of Canada services, including Parks Canada. Reservations that were supposed to open today have been postponed. Officials say they are working to resolve the website issue as quickly as possible. Well, it was a perfect day for a walk, a penguin walk, that is. We'll have details on the adorable annual tradition next. A favorite event among visitors is back at the Wilder Institute Calgary Zoo.
They are a little bit more curious than I usually see them.
13 king penguins went on a walk this morning to the delight of parents and children. Watching from the sidelines, they waddled past people on a 10-minute journey. It is the 14th year of the zoo's penguin walk. The zoo says that penguins walk a lot in their native environment, and the exercise is good for them.
Not a lot of facilities do these kinds of penguin walks, for sure. This is very unique. This is a world famous event. We get interest all over the world whenever we're doing the penguin walk. So this is a really special time of year, and of course our guests always seem to love it. The birds love it.
So this was the first walk of the season. It's a little later than usual because of that extreme cold earlier this month. The penguin walk is not held when it's -25 or colder or warmer than +5. Well, they are pretty darn cute. And speaking of penguins, the Flames actually unfortunately lost 4-1 tonight at home against Pittsburgh, but we do play the Capitals on Friday. That one's at home as well. Puck drops at 7. That's all from us here at CTV. Thank you so much for watching and have a good night.